Okay, so welcome to the deep dive. Today we are going to get into something I think that is probably the very top of your mind if you are launching a new website or even just thinking about it.
Mm,
How do you make sure that people actually see it?
right.
It can feel like such a big task when you're starting out, and this is where search engine optimization or SEO really comes into play, and it is absolutely crucial
Yes.
for making sure that that beautiful website you built doesn't just completely disappear in the
Absolutely.
vastness of the internet.
And when you're launching a brand new website, it can kind of feel like you're showing up at a party where you don't know anyone.
Yeah.
Search engines like Google don't know you exist yet.
Uh-huh.
You haven't had the time to build up that history or those all-important links from other websites that we call backlinks,
Right.
which are essentially votes of confidence from other sites saying, hey, this website's legit.
Right.
Or you even just, you don't have that library of content that older websites have built up over time.
Yeah. Yeah, it can feel like you're really starting from scratch.
It really can.
And there's this mountain to climb.
Yes.
So our mission today is to really equip you, the listener, who's either already launched a website or you're planning to,
Yeah.
with a really strong foundational understanding of how to approach SEO right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And we have got an awesome guide here
Yes.
that breaks down all the key steps to take. And I think it's a really great place to start because it's kind of like your essential guide to getting over those initial hurdles and actually being found online.
And within this guide, we're going to focus on three fundamental areas
Okay.
that the source material really emphasizes for any new website.
Right.
First, we'll look at laying the right SEO foundation,
Yeah.
and that begins with understanding what people are searching for
Okay.
through keyword research.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll dive into ensuring your website is technically sound for search engines.
Okay.
So that's technical SEO. And finally, we'll explore how to create content that's both engaging for your visitors and also friendly for search engines.
So basically, if you have ever worried about pouring all of your time and effort into this beautiful new website only to find that it feels like it's completely invisible online,
Yeah,
you are in the right place.
absolutely.
Okay.
Let's get to it.
Let's unpack this, starting with what the guide very appropriately calls the bedrock of SEO for a new website.
Mm-hmm.
Keyword research.
Yes.
Why is this the very first thing we should be thinking about?
Because keyword research shapes your entire content strategy.
Okay.
If you don't understand what your potential audience is actually typing into search engines,
Hmm.
you run the risk of spending lots of time and effort creating content that might be brilliant,
Right.
but simply isn't what people are looking for.
Hmm.
The guide puts it perfectly when it says, quote, SEO without keywords is like a compass without north.
It really is a great analogy. I think, for me, thinking back to, launching websites in the past, it was really easy to sort of skip over this part and be like, well, I think people are going to be searching for this.
Yeah.
But it's really more than just, guessing what our visitors might be, typing into Google, is it?
Oh, absolutely. It's about really getting into the minds of your potential visitors,
Mm-hmm.
understanding their needs
Right.
and how they express those needs through the words they use in their searches.
Mm-hmm.
So keyword research allows you to directly tap into the language your potential customers are using.
Okay.
By understanding their search queries, you gain these invaluable insights into what they're interested in, what problems they're trying to solve, and what their intentions are when they're going online.
So this is really, really valuable information to have,
Yes,
right?
very much so.
And it feels like this is not just something that's a good idea, but it's something that offers some pretty significant advantages for a new website, right?
Yeah, for starters, it ensures that you're creating content that your target audience is actively seeking.
Right.
And by doing that, you can start to build what we call targeted traffic,
Okay.
meaning you're attracting visitors who are genuinely interested in what you have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And because these users arrive with a specific goal in mind,
Okay.
whether it's to find information
Right.
or to make a purchase,
Mm-hmm.
you're much more likely to see better conversion rates.
Right.
So basically turning those visitors into customers or engaged users.
Right. So instead of just someone landing on your page and bouncing right back off,
Exactly.
you are actually getting people that are interested and are more likely to kind of take that next step.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's huge.
It is.
And what else?
And then, a smart keyword strategy can even help you uncover these niche areas
Okay.
where there might be less competition from those big established websites.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way to kind of carve out your own space
Great.
and gain a competitive advantage.
Okay, so we understand why it's so important,
Yeah,
but how do we actually do it?
right.
How do we do this keyword research? And the guide mentions several different tools, some free options, some more comprehensive premium ones.
Yes,
So let's take a quick tour of those.
certainly.
Oh.
So if you're just starting out, or maybe you're working with a limited budget,
Mm-hmm.
the Google Keyword Planner is a great free tool to start with,
Okay.
although it does require you to have a Google Ads account.
Okay.
It provides data on how often people search for specific terms and how competitive those terms are.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's particularly useful for a new website is its ability to help you discover new keywords related to your initial ideas, even if you don't have a lot of data to begin with.
Okay.
So it kind of gives you a starting point
Mm-hmm.
and can help you expand your keyword horizons.
Okay. And then we have tools that offer a mix of free and paid features, like the freemium option.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So tools like Ubersuggest can provide a good starting point with their free features.
Okay.
You can get keyword ideas based on initial seed keywords you enter.
Mm-hmm.
You can see some basic analysis of the competition,
Okay.
get a glimpse of what we call the SERP landscape, the search engine result page,
Right.
and even find suggestions for those valuable long-tail keywords.
And long tail keywords, what are those?
Long-tail keywords are longer
Okay.
for specific phrases that
Mhm.
people type into search engines.
Okay.
And they're really valuable because they often have less competition,
Mm-hmm.
and they can actually lead to higher conversion rates.
Because they're more specific.
Exactly, because they're more targeted
Okay.
to what the user is looking for.
So if we're thinking about long tail keywords, for a new website owner, is there kind of a helpful way to think about uncovering those?
Yeah. A helpful approach is to think about the specific problems your ideal customer faces
Okay.
and try to phrase those problems as questions,
Right.
because those questions often become great long-tail keywords that your content can then directly answer.
Okay. So that's something to keep in mind as you're doing this research.
Absolutely.
So we've got the free option, we've got kind of this hybrid freemium option, and then when might someone consider investing in the more powerful premium tools?
With tools like RFs and SEMrush
Yeah.
offer a much deeper level of analysis.
Okay.
They provide extensive data on keywords,
Hmm.
including really detailed search volume, sophisticated competition metrics,
Okay.
information on backlinks, which websites are linking to the top ranking pages,
All right.
and even insights into where your competitors are ranking for various keywords.
So that's really helpful for
Extremely
kind of getting
fun.
a sense of that competitive landscape,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So do you think it's necessary for a brand new website owner on maybe a tight budget to jump straight into those premium tools?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out, you can definitely get a lot of value from the free and freemium options.
Mm.
But as your website grows and you want to develop a more sophisticated and data-driven SEO strategy,
Yeah.
then those premium tools become really invaluable
Okay.
for understanding that competitive landscape
Okay.
and identifying, more advanced opportunities.
Okay. So good to know there's options out there for every budget.
There are.
The guide also points out some more specialized tools like Answer the Public.
Yes.
What's the focus with that one?
Answer the Public is fantastic for understanding the questions people are asking
Okay.
around a particular keyword.
Okay.
So it takes a keyword you enter,
Mm-hmm.
and then it generates a visual representation of all these different questions that people are searching for online
Wow.
related to that keyword.
Okay.
So this is really useful when you're brainstorming ideas for blog articles or FAQ sections,
Yeah, that makes sense.
because it helps you really get inside the mind of your audience,
Right.
understand their specific concerns and what they're really seeking information on.
So it's almost like you're eavesdropping on the conversations that they're having.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like a window into what they're thinking about.
Okay, very cool. And then we have these completely free options that are right there within Google itself.
Yes.
Like Google Suggest, which is the, autocomplete feature when you start typing in the search bar.
Mhm.
And those related searches that you see at the bottom of the search results page.
Yeah, those are often overlooked,
Yeah.
but they provide incredibly valuable real-time insights
Mm-hmm.
into, frequently searched terms and emerging trends.
Okay.
So simply start typing a keyword into Google,
Right.
and the suggestions that pop up can give you these immediate ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, the related searches at the bottom of the page
Yeah.
highlight other relevant topics and phrases that people are exploring.
That is true. I always forget about that. Okay, so we're using these tools.
Yeah.
We've got our lists of potential keywords.
Mm-hmm.
How do we actually figure out which ones are going to be the best fit for our new website?
Right. The guide highlights some key questions that we should be asking ourselves about each keyword.
Yes, this analysis is absolutely critical.
Okay.
You really need to evaluate each keyword
Mm-hmm.
to determine if it's a good fit for you.
Okay.
So first and foremost, is it relevant to your business?
Okay.
Does it directly relate to the products or services you offer
Right.
and the interests of your target audience?
Mm-hmm.
Then you need to consider the search volume.
Okay.
Is there a reasonable number of monthly searches
Right.
to justify creating content around that keyword?
That makes sense.
Yeah, and, while high search volume might seem really appealing,
Right. Of course.
it can also indicate a lot of competition.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have to think about the competition as well.
exactly.
Right. And how difficult it might be to actually rank
Yes,
for those high volume terms.
especially as a new website.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going up against websites that have been around for a long time.
Right.
So it's important to choose your battles wisely. Okay, so how do we kind of get a sense of that competition?
Well, one way is to simply look at the websites
Okay.
that are currently ranking on the first page of Google.
Okay.
For those keywords that you're interested in, are they mostly well-established authoritative websites or big brands?
Right.
If so, it might be quite challenging
Yeah.
for a new website
Yeah.
to break into those top positions.
So this is where those long tail keywords come in.
Exactly.
Right.
This is where focusing on those longer, more specific phrases
Mm-hmm.
can be a strategic advantage.
Can you give another example of a long tail keyword?
Sure, let's say your website sells handmade pet toys.
Okay.
A broader keyword might be dog toys.
Right.
A long tail version could be durable chew toys for aggressive chewers, small breed.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is very specific.
Right.
But it's something that somebody's probably typing in.
Exactly. And the person searching for that long tail phrase
Yeah.
is likely a much more motivated buyer.
Right.
They know exactly what they want.
Hmm.
So for a new website, targeting these niche long tail terms can be a really effective way
Okay.
to attract relevant traffic
Mm-hmm.
and see those conversions early on.
Okay. That's a great tip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've used our tools.
Yeah.
We've asked ourselves these important questions about relevance,
Right.
volume, competition.
Yes.
Now, how do we organize all of this?
Right.
The guide talks about creating a keyword list
Mm-hmm.
with primary and secondary keywords.
You'll want to identify what we call your primary keywords.
Okay.
These are the main topics
Okay.
that are central to your website,
Mm-hmm.
your core themes. If your website is all about, home coffee brewing,
Right.
home coffee brewing would be a primary keyword.
Okay.
And then you'll have secondary keywords.
Okay.
These are related terms
Right.
and phrases that support and expand on your primary keywords.
Okay.
So for home coffee brewing,
Mm-hmm.
secondary keywords might include best coffee beans for French press or how to clean a coffee maker.
Okay. So it's like a branching out.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the guide recommends putting all this information into a table, like a spreadsheet.
Yes, a table's a great way to
Okay.
keep everything organized and actionable.
Okay.
The guide suggests including columns for the keyword itself.
Okay.
Its estimated search volume,
Mm-hmm.
an assessment of the competition, maybe a simple rating like low, medium, or a high.
Okay.
And importantly, the search intention behind that keyword.
Right.
Is the person searching for information, are they ready to make a purchase?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they looking for a specific website?
Right.
Understanding that search intention helps you tailor the type of content you create
Okay.
for each keyword.
So the example table they give has entries like SEO for Anfänger
Yes.
with a high volume and informational intent.
Mhm.
On page SEO Optimieren with a
Right.
medium volume and informational intent.
Ah.
SEO Agenter Finden with a lower volume but transactional intent.
Exactly.
And meta description Optimieren with lower volume and informational intent.
Yes. So you can see how by understanding that search intention,
Right.
you can really start to plan your content strategy.
Yeah. So it's not just finding a list of words. It's really understanding.
It's the why.
Yeah, the why behind those searches,
Yeah,
the user's intent,
absolutely.
and then planning our content to directly answer their needs.
Precisely.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've built that solid foundation. with keyword research.
Yes, we have.
Now we need to make sure our website itself
Mm-hmm.
is set up in a way that search engines can easily navigate and understand it.
Yes.
So let's dive into technical SEO.
Okay.
And the guide emphasizes this point
Yeah.
that even the most brilliant content
Right.
and a perfect keyword strategy
Mm-hmm.
can kind of fall flat
Yeah.
if there are technical issues
Oh,
holding us back.
Think of technical SEO as making sure all the behind-the-scenes workings of your website
Okay.
are in perfect order.
Right.
It's all about ensuring search engines like Google can easily access,
Okay.
crawl your website,
Yeah.
index it. So that means adding your website's pages
Mhm.
to their search results,
Right.
and ultimately understand and value your content.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, when you think about SEO, you immediately jump to the content.
Yeah.
But we really have to think about the technical aspect.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And this isn't just for search engines either.
Okay.
A technically sound website also leads to a better experience
Right.
for your users.
Mm-hmm.
So things like faster loading speeds and smoother browsing.
Absolutely. It's a win-win.
And the guide makes this really crucial point that a very common reason why new websites don't appear in search results at all is often problems with indexation.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
If Google can't even add your pages to its index,
Mhm.
they won't show up in the search results,
Right.
no matter how good your content is. The
Yeah.
guide even links to an article titled Warum indexiert Google meine Seite nicht?
Which basically translates to, why isn't Google indexing my page?
Right.
So it just highlights how critical this is
Yeah, that is so important
Yeah.
to address those technical aspects.
right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the key technical SEO elements we should be focusing on for a new website?
Well, the guide mentions structured data,
Okay.
which is also known as schema markup.
Okay, schema markup. What exactly is that?
Okay, so structured data is kind of like providing extra information
Yeah, okay.
about the content on your pages
Mhm.
in a standardized format
Okay.
that search engines understand.
Okay.
So it's basically helping Google get a clearer picture
Mm-hmm.
of what your content is about.
Okay.
Is this a product review? Is it a recipe? Is it an event listing?
Okay.
By implementing structured data,
Mm-hmm.
you can enable what are called rich snippets
And what are those?
in the search results.
Okay.
So rich snippets are those enhanced listings that can include things like star ratings for reviews, product prices, or
Yeah.
even frequently asked questions
Yeah.
displayed directly in the Google search results.
Okay, so those can really catch your eye when you're browsing.
Exactly.
All right.
They stand out.
Okay.
And the guide even links to an article called Strukturerte Daten, der ultimative guide to schema markup,
Okay.
which is basically the ultimate guide to schema markup.
All right.
So if you want to learn more about that,
Mhm.
that's a great resource.
And these rich snippets can really increase the click-through rate of your...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because they're more noticeable.
Right, they stand out more.
They make your search results stand out.
Yeah.
And they provide more information.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So you're more likely to get that click.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so rich snippets definitely sound like a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
What about something I think we all experience when browsing online?
Yes.
Slow loading times.
Yeah.
The guide really highlights this as critical technical factor.
Yeah, it's super important.
Okay.
Loading speed is not only a ranking factor in Google's algorithm,
Okay.
but it also has a huge impact on the user experience.
Right.
And there's research that shows that over half of online users will leave a website
Wow.
if a page takes longer than 3 seconds to load.
That's a lot of people.
It is.
Great.
You don't want to lose those potential customers
No, you don't.
or visitors.
Yeah.
So the guide recommends some great tools for testing your website learning time,
Okay.
like Google PageSpeed Insights,
Mhm.
GTmetrix,
Okay.
and Lighthouse, which is built into the Chrome browser's developer tools. So you can
Oh.
use those tools to pinpoint areas for improvement.
Okay, so we've got our tools. We can see where we're at.
Mhm.
What are some concrete steps we can take to actually speed up our website?
Well, the guide gives a really helpful list
Okay.
of optimization tips.
Yeah.
This includes compressing your images
Okay.
to reduce their file size.
Yeah.
You can use tools like TinyPNG
Mm.
or Squoosh, which can even convert images to the more efficient WebP format.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about that.
it's a good one.
So that's definitely something I need to look into.
Yeah, it can make a big difference.
Okay.
Another tip is to activate browser caching.
Okay.
which allows returning visitors' browsers to store certain elements of your website.
Right.
So they don't have to reload everything
Okay.
on each visit.
That makes sense.
So that can speed things up quite a bit.
Okay.
Choosing fast hosting,
Okay.
ideally using SSD storage,
Solid state?
solid state drive.
Okay.
Yeah. I've heard good things about that.
Or a hosting environment that's specifically optimized for WordPress. Like managed WordPress hosting can also make a difference.
So we really need to do our research on hosting as well.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Then there's minimizing your JavaScript and CSS files.
Which essentially means streamlining the code that makes your website look and function.
Okay.
You can use plugins like Auto-Optimize or WP Rocket to do that.
Okay.
And finally, you can consider using a content delivery network, CDN.
Okay. I've heard of CDNs,
Yeah.
but I'm not exactly sure what they are.
So a CDN stores copies of your website on servers around the world
Okay.
so that when someone visits your website, they get the content from the server that's closest to them,
Okay.
which reduces loading times,
That makes sense.
especially for visitors in different geographic locations.
Okay. So like if I'm in the US
Yeah.
and I've got a website that's hosted on a server in Europe,
Right.
it's going to load faster for me if I'm using a CDN because
Exactly.
it's pulling the content from a server that's closer to me.
That's the idea.
Okay. That's great. The guide also mentions this concept of mobile-first indexing.
Yes.
So what does that mean for somebody with a new website?
So with mobile-first indexing, Google primarily looks at the mobile version of your website to determine how it should rank.
Okay.
So this means that if your website doesn't work well on mobile devices,
Yeah.
it's going to negatively impact your rankings,
Okay.
even on desktop searches.
Wow.
So having a mobile-friendly website is no longer just a nice-to-have. It's a necessity.
Okay, so what are the key things we should be doing to make sure our new website is mobile-friendly?
Well, the core recommendations include using a responsive design,
Okay.
which means your website adapts its layout to fit different screen sizes,
Okay.
from large desktops to small smartphones.
Right.
You also need to ensure that text is easy to read on mobile devices. Buttons and navigation elements are large enough and easy to tap. And you want to avoid those intrusive pop-ups.
Okay.
Those interstitials that cover the entire screen.
Right.
Google can actually penalize websites that overuse those
Yeah.
because they really disrupt the user experience.
It's very annoying.
It is.
Okay, so we want to definitely keep that in mind.
Yes. Avoid those intrusive pop-ups.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about how our website addresses are structured.
Okay.
The URLs.
Yes.
The guide emphasizes the importance of having an SEO-friendly URL structure. Why is that beneficial?
So a clear and readable URL structure helps both your visitors, search engines, understand what a page is about just by looking at the web address.
Right.
It makes it easier for Google to crawl and index your content. And it can also improve the user experience by providing context.
Right.
And making it easier for people to share and remember those links.
Right. So instead of a really long, complicated URL, it's something that's actually readable.
Right.
Okay.
Clean and concise.
So the guide gives some examples of URLs that are not so great for SEO and some that are much better.
Yes.
What makes a URL bad from an SEO perspective?
A poorly structured URL is often too long. It includes a lot of irrelevant information. It might be really deeply nested within the site's folders. And it just doesn't give a clear indication of what the page is about.
Right.
The example they give is dein Website.d category 1 under Seiten auf eine Ebene product name.html.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's way too long.
Right.
And you have no idea what that page is actually about just by looking at the URL.
Okay, so what makes a URL good and SEO friendly?
A good URL is short, concise,
and
includes relevant keywords that reflect the page's content. So some examples they give are dein Website.dzio tips or dein Website.desio für new websites. So much cleaner, easier to understand. You immediately know what those pages are about.
Okay, so we want to keep our URLs short.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Sweet and concise.
Yes.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the XML sitemap and the robots.txt file.
Yes.
These sound kind of technical.
They can be a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are they and why are they important for a new website that's trying to get off the ground?
Okay, so think of the XML sitemap as a detailed map of all the important pages on your website that you want search engines to know about. It lists those pages in a format called XML.
Okay.
which helps Google and other search engines to discover and index your content.
So it's making it easier for Google to find everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like giving them a guided tour.
Okay. And how do we create this sitemap?
Well, you can often create one using SEO plugins.
Okay.
Like Yoast SEO if you're using WordPress.